We're live.
Yeah. Temperatures going up, the heat is rising, scholars showing up, audience vibing. We on a mission, competition is the only desire. Whose information will be facing the mercy of fire? So step up, stand up, can you walk through hell? So tough, too tough for the weak, soft shell. Set the fire, fan the flame, smoke is rising in blooms. While the inexperienced today just does the choke on the fumes. Bring your science, bring the wisdom, even bring your religion. If you can't stand the heat, then please don't come in the HOK. It's just a session, learn a lesson, fight and overcome oppression. Who'll be the best debated? By the time all the smoke clears, who wants to smoke? Want the smoke. This environment is the toughest, so bring your best in. Put your spirit to the test. You stepping into the ring with the scholar with the no digits harder. I will make you holler in the information flow with power. You wanted to peak, the elite, the undisputed. Now watch as your outdated theories get refuted. I'm posted in the den, let the world burn. Pressure in the room, it's finally my turn. They want the smoke, I'm the whole forest fire. Watch the oxygen vanish as the flames climb higher. My mind is the weapon, I'm no joke. I'm the baddest, I come for the smoke. No joke, I'm the baddest to ever breathe. I don't play house, I make them leave. Smoke session. Smoke, 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 smoke session. I want the smoke. Smoke, 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 smoke session. Assassinate, you better want them. Who wants the smoke? Who wanna say that I'm not playing? Stop playing with me. Now, Paul, you better tell him, you better tell her now, Paul. Stop playing with me.
Peace. Assalamu alaikum. Hotep, namaste, jambo, ashe, shalom, shalom. All the greetings of love and light to the darkest minds of the light. I am Shadah. Greetings to the HOK family. Greetings to all the audience members of the content creators and influencers who are joining us. Greetings to your audience. Today, a very special show. As always, we always have very special shows over here on the House of Consciousness Rise channel. Today, we do have an extra special guest, though. We are going to sit down with Black Spiderguy. He is very popular in social media. He's on Instagram, TikTok. Where else are you at, Mr.
Facebook, YouTube, Snapchat, Threads.
He's everywhere, just like Spider-Man in Gollum, or
Spider-Man in Manhattan.
Oh, wait, that's Batman in Manhattan. Got you. But Manhattan is Gollum, right?
Manhattan, they're basically the same thing. Gotham.
Oh, Gollum. I'm thinking of the Chimera from Jewish lore. Okay.
I've never heard of Spider-Man at all up until today.
Gotham. My bad. You haven't heard of Spider-Man?
Never. This is my first time.
Well, we have Dunquisha with us. She's saying she hasn't heard of the Black Spiderguy, not Spider-Man. He is. Let's get that out of the way. Tell me if I'm right. You're Spiderguy.
It's BSG Black Spiderguy, or BSG for short. There's another guy called Black Spider-Man. He does something else. He's cool though.
I saw him. He has a lot of followers.
Oh my God. Oh my God. So I was on Black Spider-Man.
No, this is Black Spiderguy. Now, I didn't
wait a minute. Hold on, Nepal. Did you respond to me today? Didn't I send you a message?
You did. I responded to that, but it's BSG. You were saying it incorrect.
Oh, okay.
It's guy, not man. So now that we got all the that out of the way, we know how to address each other. Black Spider Guy, he must be doing a lot of Spider Guy advising, because he said he doesn't know who Dunquisha is. And Dunquisha is also all over social media. I'm going to let Black Spider Guy introduce himself. Oh, I froze with the most unattractive looking face. They'll screenshot that and have it all over the internet. Okay, Spider Guy, can you just introduce yourself to our audience and let us know what is it that you are doing on social media and how did you start doing it?
So I've been doing this since about 2018, 2017, really, about 9 years, right around the Me Too movement and the End All Man movement. I started doing this because there was a lot of feminist rhetoric on TikTok. That's where I first started. And there was a particular content creator, I forget her name, it was Drill Follow, there we go, who was attacking young boys in their small groups who were just having conversations about dating. And what really made me start doing this was a little boy ended his life due to false accusations due to his female friends at school playing a prank on him. And when he did end his life, there were so many women on the internet happy about that I felt like I had to speak out, but I wanted to speak out in a way that was just very me. Because at the time, I don't think there was really anybody doing what I was doing. I mean, you didn't have any Kevin Samuels in 2017. You didn't have anybody really speaking on what men were going through in a big way around that time. But I just was consistent with it, and then I just kept blowing up because I guess my way of doing things is very different compared to the rest. But if I were to sum up my overall goal, it's to fight against the obvious anti-male propaganda that's perpetuated on the internet. And it's also to give men a space or a place to express in a world that consistently says that a male's voice is unnecessary and unneeded.
Oh wow. That's very sad. And the story your story is very poignant because there's a sad reason. I appreciate 100%. I know there's a boy crisis. I appreciate your motivation. Before I get to Dunquisha and let her give you a little background on herself, because it's kind of like I'm introducing you to how, when you try to balance it out, like advocate for men, do you think that it's getting a little bit more, how do I say, is there a movement of masculinism? You know what I'm saying? Like, do you think that they're overshooting and now it's becoming lopsided?
So I mean, in the beginning, because I remember when it first started, it was very much about fighting back against very strong anti-male feminist rhetoric. As the movement has progressed, it unfortunately has separated. You have your very staunch extremist men who feel like, I'm just gonna completely disconnect from women entirely. There's some that feel like, I'm gonna get with a robot or I'm gonna just indulge in adult content. And then you do have your true, I would say, MRAs who are about traditional relationships, aren't just about trying to sleep around, are genuinely trying to work on improving people, and aren't just trying to grift to make money. Because unfortunately, that there's a lot of that going on as well. In the beginning, like all movements, it was very genuine. Unfortunately, I feel like there's two camps now.
What are the two camps? I want to hear more from you.
Well, as far as the two camps, I would say you have the staunch red pillars who,
Right.
believe that, women are nothing and, women are these like slave creatures that need to be manipulated. And then you have manosphere individuals who just want there to be a traditional, I'll do my male role, you do your female role, and we both benefit from one another, right? There's two extremes. And I've had to fight actually against some men who have had extreme negative views of women. And I'm like, the goal is never to hate all women. That's not the goal. The goal is to not indulge in individuals that try to utilize you for money and just physical fun. The goal is to have something that actually matters. So
I'm going to put a pin in that, use you for money, because I have looked at a large amount, not a large amount, maybe like 3% of your content I do when I want to get to know a guest. So I'm going to talk to you about the financial thing and women. But before I to Dunquisha, so she can actually introduce herself to not our audience, but your audience and anyone who isn't familiar with her, and then she can introduce herself to you again. Dunquisha, come on in. Let us know, what are you doing on the internet, and how'd you get started? What's your purpose?
How you doing? Is it
How'd you get
Spider
started
Guy?
here?
Spider
Yes.
Guy? What's up? All right. So my worldview is this: is that we have to have balance in everything. My foundation is balance. And I believe that the patriarch has created a strong imbalance. And the patriarch has oppressed and basically broke down all women, but especially the Black woman. And due to the fact that the Black woman has been crushed, stomped on, and as Malcolm X said, she is the most disrespected woman in the world. I believe he said in the nation, the world, whatever, however you want to cut it up. We are being totally disrespected. So what, out of all the disrespect and the toxicity coming toward the Black woman, I had to manifest myself in a way where I can get on these YouTube streets, and for that matter, any street, and fight for the understanding of how divine the Black woman really is. The Black woman is the most amazing woman on the planet. She's amazing. She's lovable. She's all things. But because of the condition that the Black woman is in, it has caused us to have to harden up and fight the good fight of faith and stand the course. So right now you are seeing a Black woman in a position that she shouldn't be in, but because the reality is, not only are you all in warfare with the European or the society, American society, that really don't like us too much, we're also in warfare. So we can't be feminine. We can't be, Mary Poppins and being all feminine, doing all that good stuff. We have to fight as well as you. So until we can get ourselves in a position where we are independent and have our own, the Black woman is never going to submit and do none of that good stuff that you want. We're gonna stand on our square and do whatever it is we need to do to survive and take care of ourselves and our children. So I'm a Black woman supremacist that believe that the Black woman is the only true, is the source. I'll put it this way: we are the source from which everything comes. That's it for me. That's it, Nepal.
All right. Well, that's a lot to take in, right? Black Spider Guy, what do you say about her position?
It's a position that I've dealt with multiple times, from different age groups and from people all over the world. As far as, let's break it down, the patriarchy in itself, which is traditional value systems that men follow when it comes to taking care of family and women in general, it's not an oppressive tool. It can be, but it's not the purpose of it. Like a hammer can be used to kill somebody, but its tool is meant to, the main purpose of it is to hit nails and wood, right? The overall goal of patriarchy is a man is in his position, he takes care of home, he takes care of children, he works and takes care of everything. And the female on the other end, as a result of what he's doing, is then able to do what she does in her feminine way: take care of home, take care of children, take care of the man after he's done doing his labor outside of the home. So I don't see it as a oppressive tool, rather just an understanding of what women want and what men want, and in a simple and it built together in a simple system called patriarchy. Patriarchy tells men to open the door, for example, take care of, if she's walking on one side of the sidewalk, you walk over here. It's to look at women as something to protect. That's the traditional version of patriarchy. That first part she brought up. The second part, Black women being gods. No one's a god, right? Nobody is above anybody in that divine level sense. What Black women can do and what a white or Asian or any woman can do is pretty much the same thing biologically. We're talking about culture, if we're talking about religion, we can change up our perceptual views a little bit. But nobody's a god. Now, if we talk about maybe the source origin of humanity, sure, everyone comes from Africa, but I'm not going to utilize that as a means to say that, well, we're holier than thou. The last part where she brought up, you know, black women have been thrusted in this position of masculinity. Black women, and I've interviewed a lot of black women, have told me specifically, this is my generation, we don't need men. The world would be better without men. We don't need no dusty men. We can be our own men. So from the young black man perspective, black women have thrusted themselves on purpose into this space in a desire to be independent. Now, the definition of independence is on my own without any support. If the goal is to unite, how can you unite if you also then want to be separate? If the goal is to unite, the goal would then to be dependent upon one another. I depend on you and you depend on me. If the goal is to be independent, that's going to completely juxtapose the whole desire to get us back in our soft space. And I've noticed this from just my conversations with black women. You can't complain about wanting this soft feminine space, but then you want this, but then you fight for independence, which is basically the complete utter opposite. You
Okay,
know,
can I jump in? Can I jump in?
no, but let me just finish right here, and I'm done.
Okay.
That's just what I've seen. It's a very back and forth, hypocritical kind of concept. I'm done.
All right. So you said that women want this soft space. This is what you're saying from your bird's eye view. You saying women want a soft space, but that's not what we want. That's what you think we want. We're not trying to get a soft space. We're trying to separate and get our own space as a community, as Black Americans. Soft is secondary. Being independent as a culture is primary for us. So we are moving toward a certain goal that it doesn't seem like you're not linked into. You on some soft stuff. I'm on some building stuff. So until we as a community build our own and not mesh with other cultures, we don't care about soft no more. That's why you're hearing women saying that I'm not interested in that tradition or way of living. We don't care about that because we getting killed out here as Black men and women. We getting destroyed in these streets. We almost at checkmate. And if you think that wise women, especially the matriarchs, that's older women, if you think that we about to rest and nestle into some femininity when we looking all around the globe and our people are being destroyed, that's not a pleasure that we can embark upon, is to be nesting in femininity. That's not something we can do right now. So go ahead, and what you got for that?
What I got for that is it sounds like you're talking about two distinct things. You're talking
Mm-hmm.
one about culture, the
Mm-hmm.
black community, and I'm talking about women and men, right? So number one, we're saying black women can't become soft. And let me just even go further to the very first statement you said. I never said that I believe that women have told me. So it's not from me assuming or making. Women have told me I want a soft life. Women have told me a man should make my life easier. A woman has told me it is a man's job to upgrade a woman's life. So this is not me just making things up. That's one. Number two, I don't think black people are in checkmate. I've traveled all over the world as well. And there are lots of powerful black individuals creating businesses, having wonderful families, and doing great, prosperous stuff that completely goes against we're not in checkmate. Who's in checkmate? The individuals with the mindset that it's impossible for them to expand past maybe their skin tone or world-class title. But we're not here to talk about black and white. We're here to talk about women and men. I'm not
Who
here to
are you
talk
to
about
tell me what it is, what we gonna talk about? We when you bring up the a subject, whatever comes up, we chime in and build.
we were
I don't know who
specifically
told
talking
I don't
about
know who
dating.
told you that you can just set the tone, because that ain't how it work with Queasy. We roll how we roll. So if you
Well,
on these YouTube streets talking your points, and I'ma talk mine, that's what we gonna do. But you're not here to just set the tone of what we gonna do. Now,
okay,
as I'm saying,
let me jump in here real quick. I'm gonna let you go, Quiz. I see everybody in the chat too. We have Dunquisha and Black Spider Guy for not too long because people are doing things in their lives. But I do want to ask both panelists. Thank you, Tahuti. I want to ask you if it's okay, like maybe the last 15 minutes of our stream, we'll get up to like maybe the hour mark. I can let some of the regular people that I know, no strangers, like come in. Some ladies want to come in and talk to you. Black Spider Guy, are you okay with that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Perfect. And Dunquisha, you're okay with that too?
yes, if possible, because of my schedule. I told you my schedule.
I know.
Can they come? What you should just let them in now.
Well,
So
okay, wait. First, I want to say this. Let's get back to Black Spider Guy, and because he said he's here to talk about women and men issues with Dunquisha. I know she can speak for herself, but Black Spider Guy, I want to let you know she is an advocate for women, but she's advocating for Black women. So that's where we get the blend of the conversation with race and the the sex, the gender wars.
Right.
So Black Spider Guy, do you ever talk about any type of you're called Black Spider Guy? I don't know, it's because you're Venom Master, but do you ever talk about any race issues at all?
So I'm Black Spider Guy because I'm Black, right? That's the first step. I have talked about race on the Dave Anderson show, actually. When somebody makes, because I'm usually about dating, fitness, male issues, what have you. I do talk about race, but not all of the time. But if you tell me, hey, this is what we're talking about, okay, I'll go right down that path. But I thought we were talking about dating. But I appreciate the context because now I understand. But just to answer your question, yes, I do talk about race. Yeah.
Okay, well, let me ask you the question that I've been waiting to ask you. What are you? So I hear traditional, I guess I could say, tenets or aspects of you, like you staying, the chivalry, opening the door. That's what you go by. So would you say that a man should be the sole provider? And do you advocate for women staying home and being trad wives? Can you talk to us a little bit like that and about that? And then I want Queasy to respond after.
So I want to make it very clear, right? I'm not an idealist, meaning I know that what I would genuinely desire probably won't happen, right? I'm not one of these men that's like, I got to get a virgin or something, because that in the 21st century, it's not going to happen. I'm all about realism, right? But I'm also going to express what the majority of men desire, right? Which is, at the end of the day, a man does want some classical, traditional things running around, just like women do. I don't think that a woman has to be in the house all day long, right? I don't think that she needs to be under my thumb. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that if we are going to have this dynamic of man and woman, then we need to also be duty bound, right? For example, my mother and father, they've been married for 42 years. My mother and father explicitly explained that to me. We may not like each other a lot of the time, but I'll always be there for my husband. I'll always be there for my wife. She may piss me off. He may piss me off, but I'll always be there because we're duty bound. And I feel like that message has been lost to time, because it's very much about, well, I need to be independent and I need to focus on me. And which is fine. Go ahead. I'm not saying you can't do that, but then you also can't expect certain things out of a man either, because a man is also his own creature with his own expectations and wants. And what it seems like is women want to be able to do one thing and have men just kind of flip their expectations around and just go along with that. And I'm here to say that most men don't want to do that. And that's why you see this divide, because you can go ahead and be independent, but I'm not going to act like I'm not the man, right? It's very weird how ladies will tell me that they want a man to lead or they want a man to be a man or what have you. but then they also want to take on the reins and be the one that's in control and be the one that's moving forward and be the one that's doing all these things. You're not saying it in title, but you're doing it in action, and that's just a deterrent. And I don't want to deal with that. Most men don't want to deal with that.
Okay, I'm gonna let Queasy respond, and then I have another question for you. Actually, regarding it's pertaining to my debate tomorrow. I want to pick your brain. We're trying to find out. I think so far that he's. What do you think, Queasy? Sounds like he's doing some
He's
good
an
on the
intelligent
internet.
young man.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard about him till today. And then I happened to ask some people that's around me, and they were fans of his. They said he gonna smoke you, Queasy. He gonna smoke you. That's what they said. But but that's okay because he's a young buck and I like him. Anybody that's masculine and stand on a square and they understand balance, I can rock with you. But I'm not being in any situation where both parties is not completely fulfilled. The woman needs to be fulfilled. And this is why if you check out statistically, the depression among women is off the roof. I mean, it's off the chain. Most women stay depressed because you're putting us in these little boxes. So my thing is, super guy, Spiderguy, is that, yeah, I think I got it right, is that both parties, because I believe in balance, both parties need to be healthy and happy, and they both need a degree of something that they control in a relationship. It's not just a man leading. Inside, this is what I teach. The domestic part of the home, that's me. I'm in charge. I'm cooking. I'm doing most of the cleaning. I'm educating the kids, and I'm decorating and making sure that love is sprinkled all around, making it a very socially positive place, and just doing my duty. I'm a chemist in the kitchen. I'm a doctor most of the time on the playground, okay? And then when the school call, I'm a lawyer fighting against the school system for bothering the children. I'm doing a lot. So don't put me in no box of submission, and don't put me where I'm just up under your leadership. I'm leading half of this ship. Now, on the more physical side, protection and building and fixing cars and other things as well, that's your department. And I'm going to sit back and let you rule that. But I'm ruling my side, you ruling your side, and we coming together more in harmony. And the patriarch does not believe that. The patriarch, and then I'm going to bounce pass it to you. I'm going to bounce pass it to you in just a second. Just give me a second. The patriarch is into this controlling of the woman. They want to control. They're not coming in harmony. They're coming in, I'm leading, I'm over you, I'm in control, you should listen, and that's not going to work. It's not going to work because we too smart now. We understand just because you a man and you got a little worm in your pants do not make you a leader. Some of the things that I need to be in charge of something. If you're not good with finances, give that to me. If I'm not good with something, I'll get that to you. We have to work out a nice little harmonizing balance. Bounce pass it to you.
Right. So what you described is actually the patriarchy. What you're talking against is just men that take it too far. Right. Like I said before, a hammer is used to bang in a nail, but it can be used as a tool to kill. Right. The whole point of the patriarchy is that we, like you just said, you just broke it all down, wonderful, packaged it up. I agree with you that a man is supposed to do his role, master one way, and the woman is supposed to master the other, right? I agree with you on that. The issue is in the modern era, that balance has been disturbed due to feminism saying we don't need these roles anymore. We need to have us both be the same. This is what is being promoted. I agree with you that there must be balance. I agree with you that a man should master his side and a woman should master his side. I completely agree that there needs to be balance. I am not in the department that one needs to be like I said in the very beginning, I don't believe that I need a slave. I can cook for myself. I wash my own clothes. I have my own apartment. I work. I do my own thing. I don't really need somebody to do much, but participate in the life, and I participate in theirs.
Yeah.
But when I speak of tradition, it is that understanding that this is my place to dominate. Know when it's my time to dominate, and I know when it's your time to dominate. Luckily, as a black man, I've had both my mother and my father, and I've been able to watch. My mother is a therapist. My father is a director. Okay. So they're both leaders, but they lead in different areas. So I agree with you, right? I've never in my mind thought my mother was a subservient. She's very loud and very strong. She'll probably watch this and she'll agree. But she's very strong. Damn, that woman's strong. My father is the only woman that she will submit to, but submission does not mean she's a slave. It means that she knows that he'd be the best one to follow. That's what
I
submission
like that.
is,
You're
right?
good.
That's what
Claire,
feeling
submission
you.
like
And
Claire
is.
Huxtable,
Spider-Man, I'm feeling you.
like
I'm
Claire
feeling you.
Huxtable on the excuse me on the Cosby Show. She's very strong, respected, but she is with is that the dynamic in your
Like
parents' marriage? Not to get personal, but you say
I'll give you an example. My father works 6 days a week, night shift. My mother works day shift. My mother's got her patients that she has to work on. She'll make her lunch, but maybe she'll forget it. She'll be like, "Hey, baby, could you just make me a sandwich real quick?" He'll be like, "All right, I'll make it for you." He makes it for you. He drives over to her place, gives it to her. Okay, see you later. The next day, she'll cook. Right? Okay, cool. She made dinner. She packaged it for him. Okay, cool. He's got lunch for the night. He sleeps. While he's sleeping, she'll tell everybody in the house when I used to live there. She'll tell everybody in the house, be quiet, your father's sleeping. It's looking out for one another. Right? When it comes to building outside, when it comes to outside, my father built the deck, he built the fence. But when it comes to the inside, my mother would take care of inside, clean. My mother clean every Sunday, still does that every damn Sunday. So
wow,
so it's about balance. People misinterpret my message because they think that my message is coming from a place of I think I'm this like Superman. I'm nobody. I tell everybody I'm a regular man. I just want a woman that's gonna appreciate the sacrifice I'm gonna make. What I teach men is don't allow the good faith that you have to be utilized as somebody else's resource game up. Because a lot of ladies have been taught to just use. That is a thing that happens very prevalently within my generation. I'm not here to say a woman should be beneath me. I'm here to say we should both follow our roles. But oh, that was different. But unfortunately, when I specify that, there are a lot of black women and women in general, because it's not just black women. Women in general have said, I want to do both. I can do both. So then if you can do both, then why am I here? So a lot of men just go, okay, well, I'm gonna just sleep around, eat, and dip because you don't need me for the other half. You want to do both. I'm not gonna
Right.
compete with you. Go ahead.
Can I jump in? Let me jump in for a second. So when you look at the black community, right, Spider-Man
Spider
and
guy.
Spider-Guy, and you see that the homes are led 70% by women, right?
Okay.
Am I correct? Let me make
You're
sure we
right. You're
rolling.
right. You're right.
All right. And therefore, isn't it 70% of men? If that's the case, not there. I may be a little off with the way I'm saying it, but 70% of women are leading the home, right?
Right.
And so if 70% are leading the home, we have to, because you smart, you have to then say to yourself, if she's alone, she is doing the masculine side as well as the feminine side, correct? Because ain't no
Yeah.
man there. She got to
Right.
do it both, right?
Right.
Okay. So you got, and we dealing with the black community. I'm black, you black, Nepal black. So let's stay here for a second.
Okay.
Now, 70% of the homes are led by black women that are doing the male role and the female. So basically, she has to be superwoman. And she's not doing a good job because it's impossible. It's impossible for her to be the man and the woman, especially when young men are involved, because we need the
Okay.
daddies. So what I'm saying to you, if that is the case, and now we're trying to bring in a man that wants this traditional role that she's been doing, and most likely he hasn't. So he's really not that qualified to do it because he ain't been in the position. He hasn't been there. So when he pops up and he's trying to make this relationship work, it's a real serious dance that has to happen between the woman that's used to taking care of everything and him coming in trying to get in this traditional role. That's really hard for any couples to do. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Okay, so now, did you want to say something? Because I
I
just
did
want to
want to
say,
come in here and
because he's
ask.
smart. He's smart. So I want to ask him. So when you think about the man sort of trying to come in and deal with the black woman that 70% of us did not have, no one there except us. No man was there. How do we bridge that? What would you say is the solution for that?
So can I speak, Nepal? You wanted to say something.
No, I'm gonna come
Okay,
after you answer her. I want about the
all
single
right, so
mother
I'll say
thing.
my piece. So number one, right? If you have an individual that's been raised in a mindset that I have to do both jobs, and you've done that for a long period of time, it is going to be extremely difficult. Me as a black man trying to date black women, my experience, right? It's going to be extremely difficult for me to get in there because you're already full of trauma. You already have doubts, and those doubts are going to create a barrier. And I, after a while, don't want to have to deal with that barrier because, you know, I'm a human being. I have certain expectations. So what ends up happening is unfortunately you have a lot of black women who, because of that, are then staying in this trauma, never being thrust out of it. And then they prioritize anything that allows for them to survive, which then makes them focus on men that have a lot of money and or anything that would help them get out of their situation. The issue is, right, because this is my main crux with that. What is it that women within our community favor when it comes to the man that gets the most access? And it's usually a man that, and this is from them, not me. I'm not speaking from myself here. I've interviewed a few of them. I literally had a survey one time. I said, would you rather have a man that's a doctor? Would you rather have a drug dealer? Would you have fast money? You want slow money? If I gave you a man that made $80,000 a year, he's not being able to go on trips all the time, but sometimes, more often than not, ladies will tell me, maybe this is just my generation, that I would rather not settle for that man and wait out for the man that can make my life better. So, because there are a lot of good black men, and I've tried to do this on my page several times to connect people, but ladies will deny those men, even if they make $90,000 a year. He got no baby mamas. He got a little car. It's not the best car. He got a little apartment. But because of social media and other expectations, because maybe she had a one-night stand with a wealthy rapper or someone on IG, she now uses that as a metric to go, okay, well, I'm going to aim for the best. Why would I settle? And I feel like that's very prominent in our community because of living in survival mode, we focus very heavily on money and not meaning and connection. So
That's
we're
why
always,
we at checkmate. You said we wasn't at checkmate, and I just wanted to show you we at checkmate. It's almost impossible for that 70% of women to get with a group of black men and make this work. It's almost impossible.
you want to
And
know why
that's
I don't think
why
we're a
you
checkmate
have the
though?
gender war, and that's why we at checkmate. Because we
What,
in a situation that only God, only an alien, only something outside of ourselves can fix it, because it's almost over with. Spiderguy, this
I'm gonna let
situation
you
of
respond to her
70%.
again. It's
I'm
more
sorry.
than
Go ahead.
70, but it's if you're talking about single mother-led homes, and I want to get to that. Spiderguy, respond to her, and then I want to come back to what you said about the money, and I want to ask about single mother-led homes. Go ahead.
so
The black
I,
community,
I was,
respond to this. The black community, I said, was almost at checkmate. You said it wasn't. Based
no.
on what I just laid out for you, if 70% of the homes is by women and men they don't want to come in and help out, then where is this prosperity? Where's this image that you seeing in your mind that's going toward positivity?
We lost
Uh-oh.
her. Go ahead and respond to what she'll be back.
So number one, I was raised with the mentality that nothing is impossible, right? I'll give you an example. When I came out of the military, right? Because I was in the Navy. When I came out of the Navy, I came out with a medical discharge. My right knee was messed up from landing in water, right? I couldn't walk for a while. So I was laying in bed. My mother was taking care of my leg. I was taking care of my leg. I tried to get I had actually gotten my dream job because I have a degree in biology. I worked in the lab research for cancer.
Good for
So,
that.
but I lost that job because I was so depressed.
Oh, damn.
Mm.
And I was depressed. I was not my physical self the way I wasn't as confident, felt lost. And me and my mother were always arguing because of that. Because in my family, I'm the oldest. You know, I have a 3.8 GPA. I was dean's list for 3 years. I was captain of every team I've ever been on. So
Good for you.
in my home, I was that guy. All the medals are mine. But this was the
Proud of
first
you.
time. But this was the first time I had failed. Right? This is the first time I had failed. And I had failed in a way that I never thought possible. I'm the genius. I'm the child that's supposed to do it all. I'm the one that's going to save the family. So in that moment, I was like, is this it? Is this really the end? And I was able to get out of it only because my father said the greatest sentence I'll always remember, which is, at our lowest point, we are open to the greatest amount of change. You may desire something you want right now that's above you, but right now, get what you can, son. That's what my father told me. Get what you can, not what you want. And I did that. And that shot me up to the point where now I'm living in New York City because my parents live in another state. Well, I say that to say this. When you feel like you at checkpoint or checkmate, all that is an opportunity for great change. It depends on how you angle it. Yes,
Right.
Black men and Black women are at odds because we're constantly trying to compete with one another as to what our roles may be. We instinctually know what we want. We know what we got to do. We see it. We just have to enact it. And now the way we do that, and this is the tough part, but it can happen. We gonna need somebody we can actually rally behind. My generation doesn't have a Malcolm X. We don't have a Martin Luther King. My grandmother, who's 95 years old, says it best. There's nobody in my generation willing to sacrifice like our generation was. So if you really want to get out of checkmate, just as deep as we are in, we need somebody that can go down and reach and pull back out. But it's going to take somebody willing to give everything. And it's, and I try my best. I'm not saying it's me either. I'm not here to gas my own horn. I've told countless men, because a lot of men follow me. It takes all of us. It takes like when Mayweather slept with a stripper and got her pregnant. I was like, you stupid idiot. Why are you doing this? You can't talk about hoes and you sleeping with hoes. You can't talk about wanting change, but you're not willing to create the change. You can't talk about wanting it. I don't have any baby mamas. I don't have any STDs, right? I got money invested. I got a pension. I got a 401k. I got things set up. So if I had a child, I know I could take care of a child. I don't just talk shit. I go to the gym. I go to the doctor. I make sure my teeth is good. I do these things because I know that I want certain things. And I can't expect anything more than what I'm willing to do for myself. But every man has to do that, just like every woman has to do that. You can't be a woman saying, I want my man to lead, but you basically becoming a man. You have to, and I'm not saying you can't be on survival mode either, because unfortunately the economy is forcing everybody to be a particular way. But
you gotta stay in reality. Yep.
But don't lose. But all I'm saying is this: don't lose your fucking soul, woman. Don't let that, because I work in a hospital. I work in emergency medicine, okay? I've watched countless women, happy, smiley, cheery, sweet, become these hard, tired, mean individuals because they let the work become permanent. And it's like, you have to fight. I even have to do that. I have to go, wait a minute. This is getting to me. I can't let this eat my soul. And it's a battle. It's not easy what we're trying to do here. What we're trying to do is we're trying to reverse something that's happened for the last 60 years. This is difficult. It might not even happen in my lifetime, but at least I can say in the future, I tried.
That's right.
That's good. Very beautiful.
I like that.
I love that.
I like Spider. I like Spider.
do
I'm
like
not, I'm not, I'm not even going, I'm not even trying to, based on what he's saying, I'm not even pushing back. All I
right.
can say is that, well done, Spider Guy. Hey,
Yes, I do want to
yeah,
ask him some questions. I'm assuming that you don't have to answer, but I'm assuming that you're in your probably late 20s,
30s.
early 30s.
I'm
So,
29.
oh
I
yeah,
knew it was
okay.
right
Figured so.
around,
So
yeah.
because what you said about your life, I really love this mindset.
Mhm.
I don't, unfortunately, I don't see a lot of influencers uh, that are in the manosphere with fresh mind. I know, and Dunquisha know, I know men around your age who think like you, but they're not influencers. They don't have a voice. So I would say that for me, it's my opinion that you're a minority, but I like I love your tenacity, that you have a goal, that you are not just doing this for popularity, but as an activist. So back to the thing about the money. That's what I really stuck with your rhetoric and saw what your platform is. And I know that a lot of, especially around 20s and 30s, are, they're in their prime, right? They can demand that money. They can say, I want this. When they get a little bit older and have less choices. So I want to ask you about who are single moms and they are leading these homes. I'm doing a debate tomorrow with a shout out to Ilkan Ali and Phil. What do you think about the single moms around your age, in their late 20s and 30s, who are they need help? It's not even about, I need this baller. They're desperate for assistance. I'm talking about the ones who are impoverished. I know there's these, I'm not talking about single mom by choice. I'm talking about the ones who, they had a situation, had a baby. Do you think that it's valid that they should be looking for someone who can support them financially, or they should just be looking for love to do a struggle dance? I'm
So
asking.
I've dated 3 women who were moms because I wanted to see if I was a hypocrite or not. Because I'm not gonna lie, I've literally said on my platform many times, like, don't date a single mother. Stay away from the single moms. And one of the reasons why is because from my personal experience, number one, you got to deal with the baby daddy. I've had baby daddies call me at 3 in the morning, telling me they're gonna kill me. I've had to deal, you need to have extra money for that child. Girls will say, oh, you don't got to worry about that child, but that child then starts to imprint on you. You start to become a masculine figure in that child's life. And now have to take on that position of dealing with that child's emotions. And that woman, even when she says she's not trying to look for a stepdad, she instinctually is. There's a lot that comes with that. And if you as a man are looking to want to be in a solo relationship where you and that mother are connected, you got to also understand that she's going to be tired. You're not going to be able to sleep with this girl every day. You're not going to be able to take her out every day. She's going to be a lot of girls want to be left the fuck alone after work. Leave me alone. Let me power down. Let me brush my hair. Let me chill. You're not going to be able to do that cuddle lovey dovey stuff, especially if you got a baby and it's not a toddler or a teenager. It's going to be difficult because it's not just about you. It's about you, her, and this other individual. You're dating technically 2 people, kind of, and it's just a lot. Now, as far as what they should expect, honestly, I've always said I think that anyone with kids should date somebody else with kids. Because if you've got kids and they've got kids, they both you both understand how it is to have children. You know that you're both going to be busy. You're going to have a better understanding of each other's situation. If you got a single man that's coming along, he's been slanging and dangling, and you find him attractive, ooh, he's hot, and he sees you got a child, you're trying to make him a father, he's not gonna want to deal with that. And he may be the hottest things you've ever seen, but you as a woman with a child have to go, well, he's just not gonna commit. And unfortunately, a lot of girls get into situations where they get Mr. Slanging and Danging, thinking that he'll stay. He fucks her good, she gets pregnant, and he dips, and now you got a second child. So it's like you really have to understand your situation and accept Reality. A lot of ladies don't want to accept reality. They don't want to settle. Even when they look at their situation, they think they still deserve that same guy they could get when they were 20. You're 30 with a kid. It's just not going to happen, or not as happen as fast. It's just not.
Okay, thank you for answering that. I like to get your perspective. I do want to ask you, are single moms at fault for the debate? So it's not any, I want to hear from you. Are single moms only at fault for single led homes, or is it, what do you say? Is it their fault for choosing badly?
So it depends. It really, really depends. If you're in a situation with somebody, they're taking care of you, they're loving you, but you're bored and you cheat, it's on you, right? But if you're in a situation, you were there for him, you were doing everything you could for him, and he leaves you, that's him. It's really situation by situation. You know what I mean? We can't say that
Mhm.
all single mothers wanted to be single mothers. Now, I have met women that have said they'd rather be a single mother than a wife. I have met a couple of women
Really?
huh?
What is that's strange. What is their reasoning?
Their reasoning is that it's easier to be a mother than it is to be a wife. It's easier to deal with the wants of a child and the wants of a man and a child. That's from my experience debating them. So it really
Do you
depends.
believe that, coming from a complete nuclear family, do you believe that it'd be easier to take care of a child on your own?
So I've talked to single mothers and I've talked to single fathers. Single fathers seem to have no issue. Single fa- Single fathers seem to be chilling. I have a couple. I have over, like, I think, couple hundred thousand, like over like 100,000 dads on my page here and there, and they've told me personally, I don't understand why all these single moms complain about being a single mother. I'm a single father, and it's easy. So I
You
think it's just
believe that?
perspective.
Do you believe that though?
Yeah,
Because you
I
dated a woman who, it doesn't change. Babies don't change by your gender. Like, babies are the same demand. They have the same emotional demand, physical demand. Like,
yeah, but
I, I,
women and men deal with stress differently. Men deal with stress differently than women do.
I've
Uh,
seen men do deal with stress differently. Yes.
Yeah, even when it comes to the, like, I work in medicine, right? I'll use my anecdotal experience, right? I work in pediatric medicine. I work in pediatric, so I work with babies and children, and I can't tell you how many times a baby needed guardianship, temporary guardianship. The female nurse was in there. She couldn't deal with the little boy because the little boy's all rambunctious. We need a male. I go in there. He's asleep. I'm reading him a bedtime story. I'm giving him a meal. He's asleep. He's chilling on my lap. And they're like, wow, what did you do? I added, it's just, women and men deal with children differently. Men are a
Mm.
lot more disciplinarian, whereas women are more nurturing, women are more giving. So you're more likely to let him kind of do what he wants, whereas a man is going to go, we're not dealing with that. That's just how it is.
Well, you haven't seen Black and Latino, especially being in New York. You haven't seen Black and Black and Latina moms go very strict and overdo it, in my opinion, with their kids. You don't think they're very disciplinary?
There's a difference between discipline and abuse.
I'm saying not even the abuse, like the strictness. You haven't seen them be strict, or no?
So again, like I feel like a woman's strictness and a male's strictness is different. That's just, and I've just observed that because I work with parents every other week. And a Latina woman with the fire and the discipline, her discipline is there, of course, but again, it's different from a male's disciplinary mindset, from my experience.
Okay, I just want to pick your brain on that. And the money thing. Uh, so women use I don't want to say it too much on the channel, but a pharmaceutical dealer over a actual guy that makes about 80K a year.
Hmm.
Wow. If they're video, no, okay, never mind. Let me stop. I was going to say video vixens, but back in the day in the 90s, I was a video vixen. It's different these days. These girls are coming straight from the strip club to the photo shoot. So I don't see how someone would want to be with a criminal, but I'm not saying you're lying. We're coming up on the hour. You've been here with us for an hour. I appreciate you. I hope we can bring you back too, because I love your rhetoric. I would like for you to meet Sonetter. He would love to talk to you. He's a legend in these YouTube streets, and he is always advocating for young men with positive messages. So I appreciate you. I'm gonna let Meter. He is a regular. He wants to come in and ask you a couple questions. And I also see another one of our regulars, Issa Queen, is up here. Your camera's not connected yet, Issa Queen. So I'm gonna let you still be up here until we can. I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me? Unmute your mic and tell me, can you hear me, Issa Queen? Meter, what did you want to ask? Come on in. Meter.
Okay. Yeah. See, but I like this conversation, and I try to listen in and get more clarity on the conversation. But hold on. Okay. Yeah. Get more information and things like that of what's going on. But
Okay, well,
when we speaking on as far as relationship wise, as far as uh, today's time, it's more like it's the generational. Because if we go back to our grandmother's time period on how they carry themselves, and then even our mothers till now, you know, and I feel like it's more of society like just want to just split the black woman and the black man, and they cause the separation and the division between us. So, you know, as far as like taking care of our children and things like that, my grandfather, I can say, he was a stand up, he was a real man, you know, and he had children, you know, he had 19 of them, you know, and my grandmother, you know, he was with her until she died and he remarried. But then at the same time, we got to look at the situations that we were in, the circumstances, the things. Like as far as you have, we coming from slavery, then you got you have Martin Luther King era, then you have the drug era, and then you got the video vixen era. So you know we've been behind the eight ball the whole time.
why you throw the
You know what
video
I mean?
vixen era? There's no video vixen era. You tripping.
But I'm talking
I
about
think
because
you
look, I'm talking about as far as hip hop.
right,
You know,
hip hop. Right, right. So
you
what
go
would you
from
like
Queen
to
Light,
ask him?
you, get-
What would you like to ask
you
him?
go from MC Light to Cardi B.
From MC Light to
You know what I
Cardi
mean?
B, right? What would you like to
Okay,
ask him, my
and
friend?
I like to ask you what you think as far as you know, you're a young man with a head on your shoulders. For us to just turn the tables around, and for us men to be really valid and sincere with our black women.
Men have to prioritize standards that lead to a certain outcome. You know, I'll give you an example. You have $300. You could either go to the bar and get a VIP section, or stay at home, take that money, put it in a stock, and take the rest of that money and pay down your debt. Right? Which one's going to lead to a more prosperous long term endeavor? The one with paying down your debt and increasing your investment, or having a good night out on the town? And which one is proliferated and valued and paraded around the most within the community? Right? We have to change what is valued and promoted
Hmm.
within the community. I've said this 1,000 times on my Instagram. People call me gay. I'm like, stop liking this girl's pictures just because she got a fat ass. And dudes will go, "You're what? What do you mean?" It's like, bro, you can't on your page go, "I want a traditional woman. I want a woman that's gonna cook. I want a woman that's gonna do this and this and this." But then you're on Instagram just jacking it to girls with fat butts and big jet, and you're not living the life of the man that you say you want to be. So we have to change not only habits, we're gonna have to change what is promoted. The music has to change, right? And standards have to change, right? If
Right.
you as a black man can't be entertaining hoes. I've had dudes tell me BSG, I love hoes. I always want a hoe. And I'm like, but you just told me you want a wife. Yeah, I want a wife, but you know, while I'm waiting, it's like you can't move one way and then expect something else to. I'm a very disciplined individual on myself. People tell me I'm crazy, but it's like if you want an outcome, you have to really want that outcome. My father did it. My father told me every day, son, I could go out to the club right now and cheat on your mother. I choose not to because I'm devoted to her and my family. That's why he's like, we've been married for so long because I've made a decision every day not to fuck up.
But
So that's sorry, go ahead.
would you think as far as like, okay, if we say there's more black women than there is black men, and with
Well,
the culture that is, with the
wait,
culture
before you
that
go
is,
infinity down to like a minimum because of YouTube, I want to keep this up. Your channel too. I know you're on YouTube. Just the F bombs, a few of them, but we gotta take it easy. That's all I'm gonna say. That's for both of you, by the way, because
Yeah.
Meter's a potty mouth too. Just kidding, Meter. Go ahead.
so I'm talking about as far as the culture, you know, it's more black women than it is black men.
Right.
But then at the same time, when with society of today, because you can remember if you uh look it up, it was a time when white people didn't like big butts. Big
Right.
butts was on display, you know. But then that was the desire of the black man. The
Right.
desire, oh man, she's nice, she's strapped, you know, and this and that. But then at the same time, they adopted the shape of the black woman. But then but as well pushed the agenda of the black woman don't need the black man of
Right.
independence.
Mm-hmm.
So now we not only just wanting a nice woman, a loyal, nice woman, black
Right.
woman. We got to go against that. She's so independent that she doesn't need us.
Mm-hmm.
That's the ticket right there. And for all men, the only thing like this a deal breaker is when a woman look you in your eye and say, "Man, I don't need you, nigga."
Right.
And the
You
N
know what I
word
mean?
too.
I'm talking about, I'm talking about it's a dagger to your heart.
Mm-hmm.
So, what advice would you give a black woman as far as like she's up and coming? Because before she get the attitude or that she a baddie or this and that, I need to do this. I need to shake my butt. I need to
Right.
get exposed. I want exposure. You know, because you got to also what I just said. It's more black women than it is black men.
Right.
So it's like it's a competition at this point.
So I mean, I would give the advice that if I ever had a daughter, I would say this, right? I would say you have two choices. You can be that boss. I'm a dance. I'm gonna go ahead and have fun, drink, girl, if you want to, but know that these are the things you're gonna lose as a result. Versus work a little bit, but then try to perfect those feminine qualities and traits that'll attract a man that'll want to take care of you. Right? Just
Mm.
as men have to embody what they want, so too does women, right? We have to do it. And we also have to stop giving value to individuals that do the wrong thing. I call out bad behavior and I get told I hate women. And I'm like, actually, the right woman would agree with me that the type of behavior we're seeing on the internet is not correct. Right? I wouldn't want my daughter was 14 years old. I wouldn't want her on the internet talking to some random dude showing her behind. I wouldn't want a whole bunch of men trying to message my daughter on the internet, only valuing her for one thing. You are more than just your body. But unfortunately, due to, like you said, the separation of women and men and the overall hyping of the body and money and having fun, this is the end result. And it's gotten to a point where you got women saying that this is empowering. I'm empowered by this. You're empowered by letting 15 dudes use you. I don't see anything empowering about that. They just get to have fun with you and throw you aside. Well, I got some money. So you're no
But
better than an
then
object. You
this
know?
my last one. This my last one, and I'm done,
And
Paul,
then
because I
we
know I
need to
could
get
get.
to Issa Queen. Yeah, don't forget she's up here
So,
and he's gonna go
so
soon. So go
therefore,
ahead, this
therefore,
Peter.
therefore, with society today and all the influences that the black man have,
Mm,
right?
mm,
Of gang violence and street code and all of that.
mm,
You know, ego, the ego.
mm-hmm,
But guess who don't have all of that? Other races.
mm,
We put out we put out to the slaughter.
mm-hmm,
We in jail. We doing all of this. We gang banging. We dope dealing. Our jobs is limited.
right.
But at the same time, when our black women look to see comfortable real man, they'll see a white dude or other races. But
Right.
then you you also have to see the agenda that they pushing when you see commercials with a white man with a black woman,
Mm-hmm,
a black man with a white woman. That's
mm-hmm,
constantly in your face, like it's the norm. It's the norm,
mm-hmm.
you know. So we it's against all odds. You know, damn if we do, damn if we don't.
Well, what do you think about as a young man? And Meter, thank you. What's your position on that? What he's saying about interracial, when you see black women with white men or black men with white women, uh, are you good with that? I mean, you're kind of young, so I would say you probably are.
I don't really care if so my thing is this, right? Go to where you're appreciated and go to where you're loved. I feel like if black women genuinely wanted to have black men who still majority marry black women, when black women would probably dominate and have all black men. But black women in my generation have said and made it very clear, we don't want these dusty black men. We don't want to deal with y'all. We gonna go where we are loved. We don't care. So black men can want what they want all day long, but if black women say otherwise, then what can you do? So black men then go, okay, I'm gonna go to Asia. Okay, I'm gonna go get myself an Indian woman. Men are trying to find love wherever they can because women have made it very clear, especially in our community, that we're not needed. Right. So when I look at interracial, I don't look at it as a bad thing. I look at it as a man going, you know what? The women of my community have told me I'm no longer needed. I'm going to go to a woman that's going to appreciate me. And I found happiness somewhere else. Now, I feel like if black women were to reverse course and go, okay, we need our black men again and genuinely mean it, then you'd probably see a reversal. Right. But until that day comes, I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. I mean, again, I watch videos every day of black women saying, I don't need black men. There was actually a video on Twitter where a whole bunch of black women were inside of a Twitter space talking about we need to eliminate all black men. So I don't think that's going to be inviting for a black man to want to come along and swoop them up. So the anti-black man rhetoric has to stop. The anti-traditional conversation has to stop if you genuinely want people to come together.
An anti-black
But
woman conversation, right?
Call it.
Wait, Meter, Meter, hold on. Meter, I'm gonna have to. I just, you don't have to answer that. Let me, Meter. I just need you to hold on because I do want to get Issa Queen in, and we're going over the hour. I promised him that we weren't going to keep him too long, but I gotta get you on record. Say you're gonna come back. All right, so you're gonna come back, right? Black Spider Guy.
Yeah, I can come back.
Awesome. Okay, Issa Queen, thank you for waiting patiently. How are you? Peace to you. What would you like to ask the guest?
Peace to everyone. Peace to you, definitely, Nepal. This was a great conversation. And to be very honest, I kind of forgot my question because I was listening to all the answers of the other question.
That happens. That happens to the
Yeah,
best.
so
You just gotta ride the wave and then get
right. It's like it's just so much information comes at you at one time. It's like, all right, scrap what I was gonna say. I just wanted to speak on what I heard because, as you know, I am the House of Consciousness feminist.
Yeah.
And I'm absolutely still in love with my black men and still would love for, black men and black women to be together in love, in relationships. I am not one of those people that advocates for interracial marriage, even though, do what you gonna do. I agree with the brother. Go where you're loved and go where you're appreciated. I agree with the brother wholeheartedly. The one pushback that I have, that I constantly have when it comes to these conversations, is this idea of a traditional family and this idea of what femininity is. Because in all reality, all of those ideas come from white people. Right? We're not talking about African traditional marriages. We're not talking about what African femininity is, or even Native Indigenous American femininity or Indigenous American families. We're talking about a European style of tradition. And forgive me for not wanting that, right? I
I
don't
agree.
think that women should come in a monolith. And I think one of the best things that Black Spider-Man said all night was, these are individual conversations that you need to have with your partner. Every situation needs to be set up best suited for you and that person in that relationship. So with all of that being said, the thing that I would like to ask is, if do you recognize that the traditional family structure that you are pushing on the Black community is a European one?
So, as far as what you're saying when it comes to maybe a monogamous relation,
Oh no,
European, huh?
you froze for a second.
Did I freeze?
Just
Can
for
you?
a sec. Go ahead.
Oh, can you hear me? Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay, so yeah, I understand that it comes from a European mindset, though I don't think that everything that's just European is bad either. I think that there's values to every culture, white, black, whatever it may be, and I think that there are some things that are effective in other cultures, and there are some things that aren't effective in other cultures. From my life experience, when I see two individuals being able to be duty bound to one another, maybe despite how they may feel, I think that's one of the best relationships I've seen. Now, are there other relationships out there that might work a little bit better? Maybe they follow the poly style. Sure, though I've had women come on my page and tell me how bad it is because they're competing with other women when it comes to their man. But when it comes to why I promote what I promote it because I think it maximizes what both groups want at the end of the day, which is to have an individual that's there for them and only them. I mean, there are obviously going to always be caveats and potential issues in any kind of relationship format. But I think that the European model is fine, and I don't think that just because it is European means that it's bad. Now, as far as what femininity is, I think that in general that can be discussed. I think that there's more generalities than differences with that. If you look across the world and across the board, most men and most women generally want most of the same things. Maybe I'm wrong, but I definitely feel like what I'm promoting is scientifically backed and from my experience works best. But that's just me. I can agree to disagree.
Right, but I recognize that I said nuclear family and you went straight to polygyny, polyamory, like
Right.
African-centered relationships and Indigenous American relationship had monogamy as well. So
Okay.
when you're talking about the nuclear family, you're talking about a structure, right?
Okay.
And how things need to work. And in those situations, it's very heavily dominated by the male the man in the relationship, and it is under roles and that are very rigid when it comes to what men and women need to do. So when I say that that's the European stronghold, that's what I mean by that. The fact of the traditional way of doing things, of the male in the at the head and the woman underneath. But in all reality, as black men and black women, as indigenous men and indigenous women, we lived in partnerships. We lived in egalitarian societies that were also monogamous. So what I'm asking is, if we're having these conversations about bringing Black men and Black women back together, and we had a whole movement based on breaking down the structural patterns of the nuclear family, because that's what feminism was all about, right? Giving women rights to do certain things so they can be in these relationships as an equal partner. So when saying all of that, is there any piece of you that adheres to any of the history that we have with these systems? And do you feel as though there's a conversation that needs to be had for future relationships, because we have seen in the past that it didn't work?
I always find it interesting when feminists bring up what's happened in the past when it comes to egalitarian situations, because I've had a conversation about this in the past. And at the end of the day, those situations, or any environment where that was mainly the thing, something that was purely egalitarian, it would fail, because you always have to rely upon male force in order to create law and order, right? I don't really understand why it is that we can rail against maybe a man being in control, but for some reason a woman being in control makes it better. When we see that when women are in control, more often than not, it's more of a focus on self than the whole. My thing is that women are always asking and expecting certain things, or wanting certain things out of men, which leads men to then doing those things, which then creates the idea of a man leading in the first place. Women have told me countless times that they don't want to do 50-50, or that they have certain things that they want a man to do, regaling a man to a specific gender role. So nothing of me wants to look into the past and go, okay, well, this African tribe thousands of years ago did it this way, and therefore there might be another aspect of relationship creation, because those things didn't work. We can chastise the Europeans, but they conquered the world for a while. And I think there's merit to the certain systems they use that helped create that dominance in the world, that which then led to the creation of the countries we're currently utilizing today, though they have kind of decayed over time due to the breakdown of what made those countries what they are. I'm very staunch against feminism and its desire to free everything up, because I feel like it just led to more destruction and chaos than more open opportunities. Because look at what we're doing right now. I very much think that the European model, whether you like that it's because of the white people made it, or Black people, or use it, whatever, I think that model is the best model. And it's the model that helped raise me and create my family currently. And it's worked out pretty well.
I want to ask as the queen a question.
Ooh.
What is your family when you say the nuclear family it's a European concept? What is your...
Yeah, the way that we do the nuclear family, yes, it's a European structure.
Okay. Right. So what is the view that you think a family should be according to African tradition, which I know there's several different countries and cultures in Africa, but for you, from your standpoint, what is the better, so to speak?
So for me, I said it earlier. For me, I think all of these conversations needs to be more individualized. It needs to be about the person that's in the conversation, that is in the relationship, because I can't act as if all men or all women are a monolith. Not all women want to be at work, right? Some women do want that soft life. Some women do want to be taken care of. And there's some women that absolutely want to go to work and have a partnership. So I really feel like within the realms of the conversation, it needs to be, more pointed at you as an individual, knowing what you want in a relationship, knowing what you're bringing to the table, and knowing what you want to see in your partner, and then moving in a way to make that happen. And that's what I believe that's what Black Spider-Man was basically saying. I think we're saying the same things, just the way we're getting to it will be different. Because in my in my mind, right, when I cannot separate the history of, what the European model has done, because my grandparents did so much work to untangle what they have done. As much as, Black Spider-Man thinks they've created the perfect system, then why is that system breaking down if it was perfect to begin with? Why was there a need for the Civil War? Why was there a need for, civil rights movement? Why was there a need for the feminist movement if it was so perfect?
Now,
Right.
I want to,
So like
before
the
you,
idea of that just doesn't make sense to me. So and I'm just gonna lay my plane with this. At the end of it all, right, we can recognize and that up until 1994, you were able to rape your wife in this country. You were able to beat your wife in this country. So like for me to adhere to what the European model has done, that is what the European model has done. And the things that we are grateful for, the fact that women are protected under the law now, those are the things that happened under feminism. These are not things that Europeans sat down and was like, I want to free all the slaves today. I want to give women rights today. No, people had to fight for those things.
right, I before you go in, Black Spider-Man, I do want to ask you a question.
BSG, Black Spider
I'm sorry,
Guy.
Black Spider Guy, BSG. And that's the first time I
Oh,
actually called you Black
sorry.
Spider-Man. Everyone has been calling you Black Spider-Man. I've been Black Spider Guy, BSG. I will call you BSG. Before you go, I do want to point out though that for you, with it, just a little pushback, Issa Queen. Europeans also, it's nuclear family isn't just specifically European. There's a lot of European families that had multi-generational homes, and so that's not the typical nuclear family. So I just give you a little pushback on that about the whole nuclear family thing. But everything else, I get what you're saying. You're very feminist, you're very radical, Black feminist. So I respect you on that. But the narrative of the nuclear family just being a European concept is absolutely misleading. There's Europeans that
No, oh
don't
no,
have.
wait, hold on. Let me just give the quick correction. What I said was the nuclear family that he's promoting, the nuclear family that we live in America is European made. Because I would never say that because, ancient Kemet had nuclear families, man, woman, child, right? They were definitely a part of the nuclear family, but the way that they went about it was different because in ancient Kemet, women had rights, right? In America, women had to fight for rights. So there is a difference between how different cultures adhere to the nuclear family. And I'm gonna let you finish, and I wanted to say one more thing because it just dawned on me that he said something that I wanted to respond to.
Right. In ancient Kemet, women did have rights, but they didn't had. Women, as you know, for millennia have been fighting for the just to be able to do things that they see happening in society that men get to do, such as voting. Have rights to you don't get to take sex from women. Those are basic civil personal rights that everyone should have. But again, the nuclear family, even in I'm not saying it is not. It's basically it's working. It's working in America. It's working for Blacks. It's working for whites. It's working for Latinos. I'm going to let him get the mic because he has to go probably. But you and I have to have more of a conversation on that because from what I heard from you, Black Spider Guy. See, I didn't say man. Black Spider Guy. You said that your mother did and said she has a very strong, powerful position. Your father, there's this symbiotic relationship where they both flow well together. I don't hear you saying anything about the woman cowering down or losing rights. You can answer though on that.
Yeah, so I'm talking specifically about the male and female correlation. I'm not talking about women's rights right now, though we could get into that, I guess, but I'm not talking about that right now. I'm
Okay.
talking about the simple idea of husband and wife. That is all. From my mother and father, again, just to go back to that, my mother is duty bound to my father. My father is duty bound to my mother. They both have expectations that they have out of one another. They made an oath to one another, and they do that for one another. That's why it has worked. My mother doesn't cower, right? Submission isn't about cowering to somebody. Then that's a misconception of the word submit, right? You're choosing the individual that you submit to because you know that submitting to them would lead you to the best outcome, right? That's why you submit. That's why you're doing that. For me, looking at everybody out here doing different relationship models, I think the best model is the European model. I'm not talking about the rights. I'm not talking about the laws, which we could get into that if you want to. I'm talking simply about the understanding husband and wife and the duties that one has to one another, which usually is fulfilled for both partners if both follow their gender roles properly.
Yeah, but then now I got to push back on you. Nuclear families are not just African or European. There are nuclear families, as she said, that are African, and there are non-traditional. There's families that are not nuclear that are African. There are Europeans that have nuclear families, and then there are families that
I never
not
hold on.
nuclear.
I never said that, there was only one way of having a nuclear family. I said that I championed one particular model.
Well, go ahead.
Hmm?
Let me let her respond. We're going to close down. This is a great conversation. Go ahead, Issa Queen, please.
Yeah, just really quickly. All I was saying was that the problem that I'm having with with this portion of the conversation, because like I said, I definitely agreed with him for a lot of what he was saying earlier. But I think you hit the nail on the head. It's just the overly the loyalty to the European model is what's kind of scaring me in the conversation, because it does scream something else to me. You're welcome. It does scream something else to me, but it's very interesting that that's the model that you want to stay with, when even though we understand that there are other models out there, as like I said before, the man, woman, child of ancient Kemet, like that is a nuclear family in its own right. But in that nuclear family, women are revered differently than in the European model. So if, and especially because I understand that he's talking about all women, but when I talk about Black women, and being a Black woman, knowing the history, and this is why history is important, because at the end of the day, you can say submit means one thing, whatever you want, submit to me, but women have died at the hands of the word submission. That's a real history. The only reason why you're submitting in the way that you're submitting to this day is because women have fought for rights for you to be able to submit on your terms. Because before 1994, they were on their terms. That means you submitted to your husband even when he wanted to rape you in your marriage. So this is why these kind of terms and these kind of conversations are important to have from a place of knowing, because a lot of the reason why this conversation, a lot of men feel some type of way about the feminist movement is because they really just don't understand what it was about and what it implied, and how we are still living in the winds of the feminist movement while saying all of these things, right? Like, and I'm just going to land my plane with this. The fact that women have the right to speak to their own doctors, have their own bank accounts, be able to travel the way that they want to, all makes it easier to have a new age submission to their new husband. Because then both sides have to change. And I feel like at the end of the day, in order for us to have a coming together between the two of us, we need to have real conversations based in real history, based in real, and based on factual information, and not just an idealized version of what we want to see. That's it.
I'm going to let him have his say on that. But I mean, do you mind if I say something, BSG?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because would you? I understand completely the battle with women and oppression and abuse. However, in a society, when even outside of relationships, there has to be different times. There are different levels. Someone has to give. Someone has to submit to whatever. It doesn't have to be a rigid he always is up there, and she always does. As he said in his conversation earlier, isn't it where she, the mom says, tonight I cook, the dad says, you go ahead and get some rest. Can you not have submission at all? Or should it just always be, you don't tell me what to do, man. I'm doing
No,
it
but
my way.
it's not about not being told what to do. It's more so about a partnership. Because what you just explained was a partnership. Not the women has to submit or the man has to submit. Someone has to submit. So in certain situations, the man should submit to the woman. In certain situations, the woman has to submit to a man, because at the end of the day, you got to go through it situationally. What if we're doing something that has to do with baking and I'm better at numbers than you? Am I supposed to submit to you in that situation? No, nobody would say that. Yeah,
Right.
I'm pretty sure that everybody would say the person who is better with the numbers, the person who's better with the money would do that. When we're doing, and the fact that the father is so hands on, especially in the Black community, when the father is actually there in the home, they are very hands on with their children. I take my son to school every day, and every day I see a bunch of Black men taking their kids to school too. So it's like we're doing partnerships,
Right.
speaking European conversations. We're doing.
Okay, so the European part is, you're saying, is the man wanting women to submit.
Yeah, it's the conversational version of what we do, right? Because in real life we're partners, but on online and in these conversations about relationships, it's, oh, this is the role for a woman and this is the role for a man. But in all reality, if your mother was gone and your father was home and the kids was hungry, wouldn't your daddy cook?
Right, but
wouldn't your father clean up afterwards? So like it's just these rigid roles that we try to push on YouTube. It's not the life that we're really living if you're really living with a partner in your home. That's all I'm saying. And just to have a real conversation about that.
Right. I would actually go far out on a limb and say this, the thing where what you're describing is African slave culture, where the mother submit due to history of the mother being in the house, having a little bit more leverage to father, because Africa of cultures, a lot of countries where women are very oppressed and women are submitting or there's, being unalived. So I can't really the thing that I can't get past is where we're ascribing everything to Europe and saying, oh, Europeans want women to submit, but not Africans. That's from what I've seen.
But that's not what I'm saying.
Well,
that's not what I'm saying.
Not because men are in Africa with their boots on women's necks, and we have the most rights here than any women in the. I would argue any woman in the world. So this whole thing about it's not African to submit, women are getting chopped up countries right now as we speak because they're bucking up to men. So that's my issue. The whole thing about, oh, it's only African and it's only European. But go ahead, and I see him. He probably needs to go. He went over the time. I'm gonna let you respond to that, Issa Queen, and then I do want to get to the guest and let him have the last.
Okay, yeah. So what I'm saying is, especially when it comes down to African traditional society, like we know that Africa has been colonized. So I can't necessarily look at Africa with two eyes right now and see what the men are doing to their women right now and act like it's happening in the bubble. It has been heavily colonized, right? So and this is why history is important. And then when I'm talking about African traditions, that's why I went to ancient Kemet of the man, woman, and child, because under that time period, even in Nubia with the Kandakes, right? Under that time period, women held a certain type of power that was not a threat to our men. Women held a certain type of influence that was loved by our men. Just the fact that one of the things that Black Spiderguy said was those societies will never work. It will be taken over because the men need to protect the woman. And it's like, what part of us being equal would now make you not want to protect me? What part of you giving me autonomy of myself makes you not want to protect my autonomy? Why do I have to give up who I am to get protection from you? That's not how we're supposed to be living on this planet. I don't believe in that. I don't believe that Kemet got taken over because they were egalitarian, patrilineal. I believe that they got taken over because they were there for 1,000 years, and regimes rise and regimes fall. We see it all the time. I don't think it's because women were getting rights is why these societies wasn't working. And I think that's a dangerous thing to push when it comes down to it, because at the end of the day, these societies and these women that were rights that were being taken away look like me and you. And at the end of the day, we just got to call a thing a thing. But I was talking enough. Thank y'all so much. I
Thank you.
appreciate y'all.
You can stay hang out until he
All right. Can I
because we're
speak?
going to
Can I
close out. I
speak?
want you coming in. Yeah, no, you have the mic all to yourself, BSG. Go ahead.
I think that trying to find some idealistic version of society or a relationship is very benign. And I think that it's best to try and find what works best across the board rather than trying to look at maybe a point in time where something might have worked for a short amount of time and giving you the maximum amount of effort. Women and men both have different expectations out of one another. We could never be equal because we desire each other for different reasons. We want each other for different things. I don't look for a woman to protect me, right? I don't look for a woman to give me money, right? So we're not equal just based off of what we want out of one another. Hell, I'm able to pick up 500 pounds. My muscle density is different. I go through a testosterone cycle every single day. A woman's cycle is completely different. We are different. And this desire to constantly make everything equal when we are not born to be equal is very weird. That's one for me. Two, I don't understand the issue with trying to have a duty to the person you love. If you are married to an individual, if you're with this person, you said till death do us part, you are making a promise to the person you love. If you don't want to be in this forever relationship, then don't get married. The whole point of marriage is that we are going to be duty bound to one another. I don't see an issue with that because I made the decision to be with you forever. I don't see a problem with that. Don't get into a marriage if you don't want to be with somebody forever. You have a responsibility to the promise and the oaths you make. That's two. Number three, if you look at any fallen empire, empires don't just fall because it's 1,000 years and now it's time for it to end. There are certain processes that occur that lead to a conclusion. You have to look at what's going on, right? You don't just get the flu. There are numbers of things that go on before you get infected and you finally feel symptoms. We know that in the beginning of any powerful nation, it is usually the men that are in control. Why? Because the men are the ones that conquered the land, built up the land, put down their masculine rules, they build up the land and they make it safer. Over time, just like any civilization, the men get weaker, the women get stronger as women climb through the political ladder. And then as those rules that made that nation what it is start to crumble down, that nation then starts to weaken because women and men have different expectations out of one another. We can look at points in history where there was a small group that, wow, they had a different way of living. Fantastic. Did it succeed? No. So why would I look at that? Look at the most powerful people, powerful nations that ever existed. How did they form? Why did they form? What were their belief systems? I focus on results. I don't focus on what I wish for or what I hope for or what I think. I look at what has worked time and time again. Now, are there abusive men? Yes. Are there people that use their power incorrectly? Yes. Like I said at the very beginning, a hammer can be used to put in nails into wood or kill somebody. But there is no perfect system. And feminists constantly tell me that, well, we can be partners. We can be partners. We can be partners. We can be partners. Women all across the board have certain expectations on men that men do not have out of women. meaning I do not want the same things you want. We are not partners, just based off of that. And plenty of women will have that I've seen get bored of men. It's happened to me. Women told me literally, "You're perfect, but I'm bored. You're a great man, but I need excitement. You're awesome, but you're not tenacious enough." There's no perfect system where a man just goes along and says, "We're partners," and it works. I was once a man that followed that mindset. It does not work. You guys do not work that way. If you were a man dating a woman, you would understand this. Again, the only reason I think like this is because through trial and error, you guys only respond to certain stimuli. And it's always when the man has more, when the man is more, basically unequal to you. You will look at a man that is equal or lesser than you as a bum, as nothing. Any man that follows or conscripts himself to that line of thinking will not get a good woman. He will get a woman that after she's been used up for a majority of time will finally go, "Okay, I'll let you hit." And that's happened for a couple of my followers where they were friends for maybe 20 years. She was having a blast and she said, "You know what? I'm done." So that's what I have to say to that. But I do have to go because it is 9 o'clock.
And you know what? I appreciate you being here. That was a great closeout. I love that Issa Queen came in and talked to you. I would love to see you two talk again. I know Zayd the Wise is a fan of yours. He hit the panel. Zay, anything to Black Spiderguy before he goes? Real quick though, quickly. Zay.
Oh shoot, man! Yeah, I was watching the show. Ended up clicking the link and coming into the back rooms. I really like the way you think. I think it's progressive and conducive for where we're going in the future. I watched you a lot on YouTube, and just keep doing your thing, man. There's gonna be a lot of people that you have to rebel, like fight against, because this kind of thinking is not the way the world is thinking right now. We are being taught a very cancerous ideology, and that is the total opposite of that what you're doing. So just be ready to fight, man, but stand on what you believe in, and I stand with you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that, brother. Appreciate you guys for having me on the panel, but I do have to go. You guys have a wonderful night, all right?
Thank you so much for being here. We will see you soon again. Thank you. Issa Queen coming in always you're not popular over here with the feminism. I back you on that. I always want, I want to give you some pushback when things come out, but I absolutely respect you and love you. Keep on coming in here and speaking up for women. It is well overdue and much needed. Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. I appreciate you. And I know I'm not liked. I'm not really favored because I'm in the future. I don't know if these men.
Stop. Can you hear me? I want to stop you. When I say you're not popular, you are popular in your love. I want to rephrase that. Your rhetoric isn't popular. They are crazy about everybody loves you. So I'm not saying you're not popular. I should not have said that. Thank you for correcting me. You are.
No. Yes, I was saying it like you. I was saying it like you. I caught how you were saying it. They don't know me personally. They're not like me.
No, you're adorable. You're intelligent. You're tenacious.
Thank you.
But the feminism, that's what I meant. So go ahead. I just want you to have your final word, Queen.
Right. No, I agree with you. And I know within the Black community, feminism has been a taboo word. It has been a taboo movement for a very long time. And that's why I talk about it so much, because I really feel like people need to be educated on it. And in all reality, when I talk about relationships, I'm talking about something that's moving in the future. Even though I do, take examples from the past, I use it to bring forward the future. So this idea that men and women aren't equal, we are equal. We're all under the same world. We're all coming out of some vagina somewhere. We're all the same, even though we have differences of opinions and we have different wants and different needs. It doesn't make one better than or less than. We need to move forward in a more egalitarian mindset. I don't care what you do in your household. do your thing, right? That's for you and your wife, and I hope y'all both love it. But when we're talking about what we need to do in general for the entirety of the Black community and what, relationships needs to look like for every single one of us, we need to be careful in what we're saying. That's all.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We will have Black Spider Guy over here again. And tomorrow is a queen. I'm going to be debating Ilkan Ali. The topic is the single mother, are men and women equally responsible? He says that women are the only ones responsible for that. Ooh, so I want you to tune in on that tomorrow. I want you to be in the audience, my moral support, because it's crazy out here in these YouTube streets. I don't see this. BSG.
Absolutely. What time?
Like though. Oh, what time? Did you say what time? Sorry. Go ahead. I'm gonna delay.
Yeah, I was asking what time.
7 p.m. your time. The flyer is up, for like on the channel. I don't have the flyer here, but anyway, yeah, Ali is a little bit more blaming women. I didn't feel that from this young man, but I know that submission. Dunquisha wasn't playing about that submission. And speaking of Dunquisha or Issa Queen, Zay, let me let you have the final word, and I'm gonna go ahead and close it down. Thank you, both of you on the panel. Thanks to BSG, Black Spider Guy, Dunquisha, Meter, and everyone who hung out with 2 hours. Zay, what did you want to say about the submission? Yes or no? I know you know Dunquisha. She says, heck no, like Issa Queen. What do you think about women submitting to their husbands?
I believe that the verbiage or the modern connotation of submission, I think removes us from what we're actually trying to get towards. And I get why women are saying like we don't want to submit, and the idea of submitting in our modern context is a bit demeaning, it's a bit degrading. But I think in the context that it was originally designed in, it would be more in line to the relationship between a boss and a worker, like at a job, right? And at the end of the day, there's still respect, there's still a level of humanity to this, but you couldn't have any kind of operation without this I guess you would say truncation of power. And I believe that what many thinkers of the time are trying to say is that in these units that we call family, there has to be a structure to how this power goes about it. And I can't sit and argue whether men or women should honestly be the leader. I believe personally that it should be a man due to a multitude of factors, but that's not what I'm saying. But what I am trying to say is that the idea that it is important and required, I think it's something that should not be rejected. I think that when we try to go into the conversation and say that, it's all egalitarian, everybody is equal, I think you can end up missing something that may be useful. And I just think that when you look at the models for any successful organization, it always follows this structure. And if you're trying to create an organization, you should take from that and not try to reinvent the wheel. I think we have tried to reinvent the wheel in our modern society, and in many instances, it's not been productive. And I think that maybe there is a place for us to integrate those more traditional values in one way or another. Maybe we need to modify them, but that concept of hierarchy is needed. Everybody needs to be comfortable being in the hierarchy and not disrupting the hierarchy because it's not as effective. And
Right.
I'll leave it there.
Thank you so much. I want to say on that I'm in between you and my sister Issa Queen. Everyone is not equipped to lead, and everyone doesn't deserve submission. Ideally, we should have men who know how to lead and lead well. Everything was turned up on its head. I'm going to go to the 60s. And now we have generations of men who have not seen relationships where women and men work together. On BSG, who he said how his parents work. He said his mother's a very powerful woman, but there's a relationship that men, unfortunately, have not been able to witness in their homes. Not saying all men, but a lot. And so now we have these men who are telling us, you have to submit to me. And we know much better than that, because we as women have seen women lead better or lead alone. So we're going to have to get to a place where good men, I believe in good leadership. I believe in the word submission has some connotations. I am not against patriarchy. However, I'm going to say centuries, we haven't been doing it correctly, where women are treated like human beings and decently. So all these men saying right now, they have to, you can't just be put up at the top of the hierarchy if you don't know how to lead. A lot of men want submission just because they can lift 400 pounds and they can grow hair on their chest and they have XY chromosomes.
Right.
You don't that way. If you don't lead well, you need to sit in the car and let somebody else take and it's not always going to be a woman sometimes. So that's my position. Peace and love to everybody. We're going to do this again. I want you to tune in tomorrow to my debate, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I have nothing but love for these two. Zay, Issa Queen. I love you guys. Trendsetter's going to play because I love. Shout out to Afu Nation. Oh, that is a beautiful family. I don't know if do you know Lady Kier, Issa Queen?
Yes, I'm still here.
Are you familiar with Lady Kier and her husband, the musical dynamic?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, yeah, she is a perfect example. I got to bring her in. We have to do a roundtable with the women. She's got a great marriage. They work together. They do music. They do their business. She's an advocate for women. He supports her. She supports him. It's just such a beautiful, beautiful family. It is a nuclear family, sis. I love you. It is a
nuclear family. I love her.
But we're going to have to bring them back. But I'm going to play their song right now. Peace to you, Revelation X. Peace to Afu Nation. Peace to everybody. Have a great weekend. And Shabbat Shalom to those who practice the faith. Peace, sis.
Frankie and the trendsetter.
You did it again, man.
HOK Field Marshal, you know?
Nation.
None of them can better dance on the top.
Revelation, set the top.
Violate the general. Head up in a blood clot funeral home. Anchor the AK Jabari got the chrome. Head Chris the how we sending them home. Regina the alley with a Cuban and a galley. Send you back on Nile Valley with a shot in your toe intellectually. How click the link if your scholarship sloppy. More if your smile make you cry with the truth. No lie, my youth him a really scored and 21 gun salute for commission. Not a brother a hustle a move like I left for the black woman not all like Olson and Yana for sister freedom. I the whole panel know what time for Bible thumping. The minute them see me come, revelation set. Frankie are the trendsetter. None of them can mother than Sonetta. None of them can mother than Sonetta. Them got a podcast but saw better.
Yeah. Coast to coast we be banging. Coast to coast we be bringing all this knowledge we be slanging. In the HOK we don't do no entertaining.
Speaking truth, speaking facts.
What the niggas just a layman. Better get on one accord. The future can be yours. Ancestors push you more. We gotta go explore the sciences and math. The future's based on class. You bout to catch my wrath. We turning up this track.
In the dark minds of the light.
The dark heart still fight. We gotta make this right. Talk right now. We learn how to stand up and stand proud. No man down. We fam now. House of the Cox, my clan now.
Frankie are the trendsetter. None of them can bother dance on it. None of them can bother dance on it. Them got a podcast, what's up better?
When I look at you niggas, I see what I'm not. Go take him, a little bit of her, mix it with them, I put them in a pot. You still can't get none like me. It might sound the same, but it's unlikely. One white tee, if I lift it up, you niggas gonna see what it gun might be. I thought I told ya. Afro Nation, revelation, we some soldiers. Sinetta put this team together, now it's over. We got the weight of the world up on my shoulder. When you get conscious information, hearts turn colder. Now look at these trappers who rapping the same, so stuck in their lane, systemically, chemically. I'm thinking something is wrong with their brain. As long as they paid and for in the chain, I got nothing to say. They in love with the gang. I traded my gang for change, and now that I changed, a few things still say the same.
Frankie are the trendsetter. None of them can bother dance on it. None of them can bother dance on it. Them got a podcast, but so better.